now. Here we go. Ba-dum. This I'm going to read right here. This article is by way of kerfuffled.co.uk, and the title of the article is, let me put on some screen sharing here so that you can see what's going on. The title of this article is the MSM on show. The MSM QAnon show. All right, so let's try to read through this together. You're like this. Again, this article comes to us from Kerfuffled. It's the first time I've heard this site. It says, well, show. The Washington Post is leading the unhinged media establishment attack on the QAnon story. In just a few days, or over a dozen anti-QAnon articles have been published by the Washington Post alone, each getting more manic and deranged as the desperation becomes all the more obvious, and more will follow. And then it shows us an example of a search from Google. The headlines, JFK Jr. didn't die. He runs QAnon, and he's #1 Trump fan. OMG. Fact-checking. QAnon conspiracy theory. AP Morgan sink the Titanic. QAnon is so scary. QAnon, a deranged conspiracy leaps from the internet to Trump's campaign. There's a virus in Trump land. The Washington Post. So these are articles. It's hard of another conspiracy that has attracted so much attention from the media, especially one that's apparently just a lark. Examples on meet a real believer in the online pro-Trump conspiracy. QAnon went viral, and its conspiracy theorist believers couldn't be deterred. Conspiracy theories for losers. QAnon, how the conspiracy theory spawned by a Trump quit gossip, and it is why QAnon conspiracy is the natural culmination of the Trump era. So these are articles that you're finding on Google, all right? Just in the last week. Note, the deliberately provocative language used, deranged, scary, cult, virus, terrifying, nasty, despicable, twitted, Byzantine. And that's just from one media outlet's headlines. Wow. For those who don't know, the QAnon, quote, conspiracy theory mainly consists of a series of anonymous posts which use the Socratic method of asking the reader questions, encouraging them to find their answers. The main purpose being to enlighten people of the corruption which has gone on for many years in various establishments. The media establishment is no exception, which leaves many not surprised at all by this frantic coverage. It really is quite laughable that these question-based posts can be labeled terrifying and dangerous, when all they want people to do is be more aware of how global politics and media propaganda works. Terrifying? Yes. For the applicants in question, almost every media outlet has jumped on the narrative, exposing themselves further as being against people having a deeper understanding of how it works. There's a graphic image here of people from a variety of news outlets that are bashing the Trump movement and QAnon, conspiracy, this whole nonsense. All of these articles paint a dark and sinister slant towards QAnon, attempting to convince the reader that despite not knowing how big the movement is, it's still a, quote, fringe, cult, a, quote, handful of people shown here by the, you got to get the images for. Does anyone else believe in QAnon? Yeah, but it's not clear how pop actually is. Joseph, a University of Miami professor who studies conspiracy theories, said by QAnon remains, quote, fringe belief by a very small number of people. Of course, journalists couldn't then help but admit they were, quote, alarmed to see more than a very small number of people were packing out the rally advertising Q. Here's another quote. This is QAnon, a niche wing cult that has emerged from the recesses of the and is now packing out Trump's rallies. Journalists who knew of the group were alarmed to see the number of placards and t-shirts with the letter Q visible in the raucous crowd cheering U.S. president on Tuesday. The article continued, the Tampa rally was the catalyst for them to begin acknowledging Q and subsequently publishing the backlash articles against Q. and those who have been researching the Anons. As the BBC rightly admits, ignoring the Q story now would be responsible, as the Q is huge, not just a small number of people. From the BBC, the incident in Arizona, the tweets by Roseanne, and the prominence of QAnons at Tuesday's rally in Tampa has led to more coverage of QAnon. Whitney Phillips, assistant professor of communication, cultural, and digital technologies at Syracuse, says the media out be careful they are not drawing more people into theories. She says if a particular conspiracy only exists within a particular community, all reporting was amplify the concept. More and more people are exposed to it. Phillips acknowledged at this point, not reporting the story of QAnon could be framed as irresponsible because it is happening and people are responding. However, she argues that conspiracies don't occur in a vacuum and warns that evangelicals debunking theories can legitimate or legitimize ideas. The article continues. BBC brought attention to the fact that more people are now being exposed to QAnon. Exactly why all the articles have such a sinister negative slant. Media outlets be careful. They have already failed. Yes, they will continue herd mentality, playing on individuality, creating fear of being other. This being ridiculed, laughed at, being different from the herd. Such strong wording has been used in all the articles in the past week. PRQ, a deranged conspiracy cult. You see the thing? Is QAnon the latest strong conspiracy theory anti-Semitic? Many say QAnon, which centers around a serious online figure, is an ominous of an emerging fringe. See? Harris decided to slant a popular technique, which is also being used to slay UK opposition. Despite Harris' accusing headline, the article on actually has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, other than Times referring to assumption who just happened to be. By the way, this revelation bunks the article's own theory. Conveniently situated article. Seems like bad excrement to me. That's leading quote from Advocate. Unpacking QAnon, a bat excrement conspiracy theory. The Advocate for the LGBT community uses this tactic, fully telling its readers that they should worry and incriminate QAnon as crazy, disturbing, and dangerous. Here's another quote. And how does it affect LGBTQ people? Long and short, not only is it crazy, homophobic, and could be dangerous. Why we're QAnon and it's in the real political war with its followers showing their stripes. The more exposure this group gives, the more people who might become of its disturbing conspiracies. If the Advocate gives to back these are a few random Guardian, all is its best to infer QAnon violence on the card, and people want to worry and want people to work for violence. Another quote. Loony, conspiracy, emerging, lunatic, fridge, and weird. See the tactics that they're doing, folks? It's basic propaganda. Why would this? There was nothing for them to fear. What does fear look? What does panic look? What does control look like? What coordination look like? What does fake news like? Cheap, no more. Watching the word in the established. Enjoy the show. Q post number 796. Welcome to mainstream. We didn't come. A group to expect. What is Twitter comments? Liberal Democrats, WWI, fake mega orders, Baggin Shills, paid shills, infiltration, MSM infiltration, bot attack, Facebook, Twitter, massive amounts of fake use both, all activated the past 24 hours, full attack mode, brute force, false narrative, self-watch. This show, that's number 1796. Read kerfuffled. In that article, I come from me and Polly's Twitter. That's where I got that article from. So thanks, Polly, for posting that. Right. Think about that. Let's see back there. Let's see. Quite active. Let's see. Let's pause on today, except for the cop here. Here, Charlie King, this journalist is dead. On the actual numbers, absolutely, Charlie, absolutely. Let's see here. We're at